Alright, good morning, people of YouTube. So we're back again today with a really fun deck profile. It's pretty degenerate. This might be one of the most degenerate decks I have ever made. But this is Eosmon's Security Control. So I'm going to keep the deck profile brief because I kind of want to go over some changes I would make after playing it today, like at the end. And, yeah, but I took it to my locals. Honestly, a great scene. St. Louis has a lot of really, really good Digimon players, so going there is a really, really good place to test for me. And, yeah. All my opponents today were great. A lot of them are really good friends of mine, and just getting their input on the deck was just a good time. So, yeah. And BT6 is such a fun format to play in, so we'll go ahead and get into the profile. I got the 4 Upas as your yellow eggs, because having access to yellow option cards is always important. And, you know, this is the one that you're most likely to trigger. I guess I could play Cupie. Cupie would also be pretty likely to trigger. But, honestly, just having the yellow eggs is important. Next, I'm playing 11, level 5 Eosmon. I would honestly try to bump this number up to 12 or 13, because the games that I did drop, like in my sets, were games that I didn't see enough of this card. But, yeah. So, we'll go over my matchups at the end, but this card was really key. What you want to be doing with this card is you want to get one out with a Manoa on board, and then start searching your deck for more Tamers and more Eosmon. Or you just get one out before you draw the first Manoa, which is more likely because you have a crap load of these cards. But you get one, and then you wait to attack until you have another Eosmon in hand. That way you maintain a board advantage, and even if you die on swing, you're getting something out of the Eosmon. But it allows you to constantly maintain tempo while the rest of your cards either recover you security or deal with your opponent's Digimon. So this card was amazing, and it's your primary method of dealing damage. Last but certainly not least, we got the level 6 Eosmon. This rounds it off for the Eosmon names. This card I threw in as a one-of because you can hold it, and then mid to late game you can just drop this on one of your Eosmon, and it's a 5-cost deletion spell, and if it sticks around until your next turn, then you have a chance at having security attack +1. And it gets really big, so it's going to survive. So this was a great card, and I don't know if I'd bump it up to 2 or not, but at 1 it was certainly doing work. You just kind of like get this card and hold it. I guess an argument for only playing 1 would be because you play Manoa. This card is easy to grab, but this card was really, really good today. So then, yeah, onto the Digimon that aren't Eosmon. I got 2 copies of Mechanori. This card helps against small dudes. I got 3 Magnadramon. Don't think you need 4 anymore. 3 is good. You kind of hold this, and you have a lot of cards that do recover as well. And giving your opponent a lot of memory is always dangerous. But, you know, sometimes late game, whenever you have a bunch of Tamers on board, and they're going to get a bunch of memory anyway, dropping this really doesn't make a difference at that point. Next, I got 4 Salamon to round out the Digimon. You can evolve this on your Upamon to get your free cycle, but honestly, 4 was too many. The recovery is nice, but I feel like this is a card that I would go down to 3 or even 2 of to make room for other cards, and we'll get into that at the end. But it's a good card, and yeah, playing it to evolve on top of your eggs to draw more cards is always good. Plus, it lets you get more bodies on the field, which is always nice. So that's it for the Digimon. We're playing a fat stack of them. A lot of them are Eosmon. On to the Tamers. We got 4 Manoa. So what this card does is whenever you play an Eosmon, you get to suspend this, and then reveal top 3, and then add an Eosmon or a Tamer to your hand. So this card, if you have multiple of these on board, you can just start doing like the Commandramon thing, where you just get multiple checks, and you just bot deck a bunch of cards, and it's really cool. I got into a bunch of positions where I was cycling through my entire deck, and then at the end of the games, I was seeing the cards that I'd put out on the bottom, so I kind of like knew generally what was coming and when. And having multiple of these on board and playing an Eosmon every turn off of your when attacking effect is really good, because you can just swing with this, play your Eosmon, trigger this, and then set up for having another Eosmon for your next turn. And you can also grab the level 6 whenever you do see it, whenever you're digging constantly. And grabbing the level 6 is, again, free deletion. So this card is amazing. The only other Tamer I'm playing in the deck is 3 copies of Izzy and Joe. This card is a generically great card for just gaining 2 memory. If your opponent will try to go wide against you, it just is amazing. Plus, if they promote from their raising area and they still have memory left over, a lot of times their best option is to just play a Digimon, and this card punishes them for doing that. So I also got into positions where I had 2 of these on board and blocked something with Mechanori, it died, and then I suspended both of these and drew 2 cards. So that was also really fun. But yeah, it's also just really important for just playing black options, which is the main reason you play the Black Tamer. But those are my 7 Tamers. I really like them. Shout out to my pal Jason. He came in clutch, giving me the 4th Manoa because I only owned 3 before today. I had a red starter deck tie in my deck coming into this event. Yeah, this red starter deck tie would have been nice for getting over blockers, but honestly, playing 4 Manoa was much, much more important. You have to play 4 of that card. So, for the rest of the cards, we're going to go over the recovery package first. I got 4 copies of Reinforced Memory Boost. This is one of the best cards Security Control got in BT6. And, yeah, I think you have to play at least 3. I could see cutting 1 for one of the cards that I'm trying to add to the deck, but I would only ever cut 1. This card is just way too important. I'm playing 2 copies of Tactical Retreat. This card is really funny because what you can do is you can swing with Eosmon, play an Eosmon, and then if Eosmon, your first Eosmon lives, you can spend 1 memory and put it on top of your security stack, which is really funny. If they were just going to swing over it anyway, you might as well just throw it into your security so that you force them to commit to swinging to your stack, which is fun. Plus, you can do this, put an Eosmon in your stack, and then do something like a Reinforced Memory Boost or a Holy Wave, and put something on top of the Eosmon, so that way it makes it even scarier. So I play 2 of this and 3 Holy Waves. These are all of my recovery cards. With the Tactical Retreat and the 3 Holy Waves, I get 5 cards in security that just say Recover 1, which is really, really nice. Whenever they go and they swing at you, there's a good chance that their body will just get deleted, or you just stay at the same amount of security. So these are good cards to have, and honestly, one of the big backbones of the deck. So the rest of the cards are straight up deletion. I have 1 Eden's Javelin. This is good for like mid-range plays. It deletes level 5s and level 4s most of the time, but whenever you're getting late game and you're just drawing a bunch of cards off of Manoa, and you have not used this card yet, and you have just a bunch of Eosmon chilling in your hand, you can just drop this and delete level 6s, and that's always fun. So I do like this. I wouldn't consider bumping it up to more than 1 of in this list, though. You need to make room for more Eosmon and other important cards. So I have 4 copies of Wyvern's Breath, 4 copies of Iron Fisted Onslaught, and 4 copies of Ultimate Flare to round out the list. So these make it scary for your opponent to swing at you. The reason I'm playing 4 Ultimate Flare is because this deck really can't play Jawalt Schwarmer, because if you play that card, you will delete all of your own Eosmon as well. So you need some sort of board wipe, and the 4 and 4 kind of cover for that. I was considering playing like a Purge Sign or like a Trident Revolver if I played the red tie, but honestly, I really liked how this worked today. And the one loss that I had was against Dynus Shine Greymon, where he played 4 Shine Greymon, a bunch of children, and then he had a couple Dynasmon, and he was really, really smart where he didn't use Dynasmon's effect to mill himself, so I couldn't deck him out as a win condition. So, yeah, that was my one loss, and the reason this deck straight up loses against that matchup specifically is because it can't keep an Eosmon on board. They can just evolve into Shine and board wipe you, and you can never attack them. And that just kind of sucks. But that's the one matchup I think that this deck just loses against. Like against Black Royal Knights, against Jesmon, the Bond decks, even against the security control matchup, something that this deck has the advantage of is it has more bodies than they do. So if they play their security cards to delete your Eosmon, that's fine. You're just going to play more. You have more cards to swing with than they do, and that lets you take the offensive against them, and really putting security control on the back foot where you force them to play defensively is not where they want to be in this format. Sure, it is a defensively focused deck, but they don't want to have to do that. They want to have their big security stack be just exactly that, a safety measure, like a security pile, while they deal with you with their Sakuyamon, their Zwart Defeat, and stuff like that. In this, we just play Eosmon. So, I'm not playing Zwart Defeat in this list, or at least I wasn't today. After today, I think I'm going to add it. So we're going to go over the changes that I'm going to make. I'm going to cut 1 Tactical Retreat. This card is really good whenever the starter decks come out and you get to play cards like the Cordramon and the Geogreymon. This card would become a 4 of then, and I think Holy Wave would go down to a 2 of, but I think for right now I'm going to cut 1 of this. I'm going to cut 2 Salas, and I'm going to play some combination of these cards. I think I'm going to play 2 Zwart Defeat and 1 Ornismon right now, but I'm going to try to cut or make room for a second copy of Ornismon. So there's a bunch of people in security control that I've been seeing play this card lately, Eli Hill being one of them. He's the only person whose name I know that plays this card, so shout out to him. And shout out to everybody else whose profiles I saw that convinced me to play this card. It's a 12 drop to just hard play. It has security attack +1, and on play you get to delete a level 5 or lower Digimon they have, and it can evolve into Zwart Defeat, so you can pop a Tamer off of it. So this card makes Zwart Defeat not dead in hand, and because Zwart Defeat, I don't have any way to evolve into this, and I need all of the Digimon in hand that I have to be Eosmon. I wasn't playing this card in my list right now, but I feel like security control kind of needs this card. 2 is all I own right now, but honestly, I think 2 is all I'd play, just because you do need to make room for more Eosmon, and you don't want these cards clumping. Having 1 in your hand kind of sucks. Having multiples in your hand really sucks. So, but having this in your security is amazing, and if you see it with a reinforcing memory boost or something like that, or any of your multitude of recovery cards, it's amazing. And Ornismon helps you put on a lot more pressure. If you have this out, then then your opponent wants to deal with this before they start dealing with your Eosmon. And honestly, that's kind of a mistake because your Eosmon is your win condition. So I think that this is the correct call in this list, and these are the cards that I'd remove. But going on to the rest of the cards that I was considering, I said until today I was playing the red starter deck tie. One thing that this card is crucial at doing is if your opponent is playing Black Royal Knights and they have the black tie on play with like 6k blocker or Mechanorimon or something like that, if you black tie plus Mechanorimon is pretty much impossible for this deck to get around without dealing with the Mechanori first, and dropping a Wyvern's Breath on Mechanori sucks. So if you have the red starter deck tie in play, then your Eosmon hits 7, and if they have the black tie, then they hit 7. So if they block you, you at least trade, and you get to play another Eosmon off of it. So this is really nice. I was only going to play 1 or 2, but if you do that, then you do have the option to play a couple more removal cards. You can play a Gaia Force and a Trident Revolver. I don't know if I would, but there are definitely options that you can consider. Trident Revolver isn't color restricted for the Tamers that it can play, so you can Trident Revolver, pop a 6K, and then play like a Manoa or an Izzy Joe from your hand, which always feels really good. But you'd have to have the tie on board. If you didn't want to play the tie, I guess you could play the Agumon Experts, but I think the Tamer's also really good. But yeah, that's the red engine. You could play any multitude of those cards. I'm not playing Lucemon. You can. It's a card that I'm heavily considering playing. I just couldn't find the room for it. I wanted to try Tactical Retreat today, and it was good, but I think it's even better whenever the starter decks come out, so I'm going to wait to bump it up until after that. But Mistymon is something that I really considered. This deck already has a good matchup against like Bond decks, but if you want an even better matchup than that, you can play Mistymon. And I feel like it's a good inclusion. It stops decks from going wide with the small 2 costs. It's good against every Bond deck. It's good against a lot of purples lists right now. And I do like it. If you want to play like Sakuya or something as well in the list, you can evolve Misty into Sakuya, and that's nice. I'm not playing the Magna Angemon, but honestly, I'd consider it. So that's something that you have access to as well. But yeah, I think that wraps up about all I want to say for this deck profile. Kind of spent more time talking about the changes that I would make rather than what I played today, but this is standard security control mashed with Eosmon, and I feel like the name says it all. So let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.